Hello and welcome to News Now. I am Deji Badimasi. The 12 Nigerian soldiers who were convicted for mutiny and sentenced to death by firing squad by a general military court-martial have taken their case to the Court of Appeal to appeal the verdict, of course, of the military tribunal. The 12 were sentenced to death by firing squad on September 15th after a general court-martial led by Brigadier General C.C. Okonkwo tried 18 of them for mutiny and found 12 of them guilty of mutiny, criminal conspiracy to commit murder by shooting at the vehicle of the general officer commanding 7th Division. The soldiers who approached the appeal court are praying the court to set aside the judgment of the court-martial on the second ground that decision of the general court-martial was based on equivocal, indirect, negative, uncorroborated and suspicious circumstantial evidence in convicting the appellant for the attempt to commit murder. The convicted soldiers who are filing the appeal are Corporal Jasper Braidolo, David Musa, Friday Onu, Igono Emmanuel, Private Andrew Ngbede, Nuruddin Ahmed, Ifeanyi Alukagba, Alao Samuel, Anafi Chikudi, Alan Linus, Yusuf Shaibu, and Stephen Clement. Meanwhile, the Court of Appeal has not fixed a date for the hearing of the appeals of the soldiers. Now, yesterday marked 6 months since Boko Haram abducted over 200 girls from a secondary school in the remote town of Chibok in Borno State, northeast Nigeria. Despite every effort of both the government and the international community to rescue the about 219 of the girls, well, they're still in Boko Haram's captivity. A march on the presidential villa by the Bring Back Our Girls campaigners yesterday to force the government to do more to rescue the girls ended. It actually ended a long distance from the villa because the marchers were stopped by security agents and so they couldn't meet with the president. But take a listen now to this altercation between the leader of the group, former Minister of Education, Obi Ezekwesili, and the current Minister of State for Education, Sarah Ochekwe.
Dumped. Yes. You know the reforms that were not about transactions. Do you know the reforms that were about reforming the institutions of education? Shame on you, Sarah. Can I tell you something? Don't worry. Don't worry. Let's go back. The days are coming. When the same person who is misrepresenting the reforms in education that she knew about, just because she happens to be in a situation where discrediting the reforms she knew about, the day is coming when you will recant what you have said today. All right.
Now, we asked one of the Bring Back Our Girls campaigners what exactly they want, and here's what she said.
In the aftermath of the outcry in May, they set up the Information Center, National Orientation Agency, SSS, Chief of Defense spokesperson. But I don't know if there's no communication, so you wonder if it's been shut down. So they also stopped communicating. So you then wonder how serious are they? Because really, I mean, we're doing day 100, day 181. It would actually be nice if the government did updates. So this is day 180. This is what we've done. This is where we are. Nobody's asking, and we keep saying this because they always come back and say, oh, we can't share our secrets. Nobody's asking for tactical plans or detailed information. We just want to get a sense that this is a government that still cares about these missing children, is actively doing whatever it is that it can beyond just words and beyond being forced to respond. And more than that, it's also the defensiveness. almost that, oh, we're trying to make the country look bad, we should focus on the army, we should support our troops. Well, it's kind of hard to support troops who themselves are complaining. So the best way to support our troops is to make sure that the troops get the resources that they need. And that goes back to the government and saying, look, we need you to do your jobs, not only in providing our troops the resources that they need, and then by extension, making sure that the troops are in a position to go and rescue the girls. But that whole conversation is just, it's not an engaged conversation. It's almost framed as a combative conversation. It's citizens against government in a sense.
Now, back in April, when the Chibok girls were abducted, we saw almost a daily protest on the streets of Nigeria, all demanding the government act speedily to rescue the girls. But as the months wore on, the protests began to die down. Today, with the exception of the Bring Back Our Girls campaigners, protest for the cause of the Chibok girls is becoming a rarity. We asked DME again if this is killing the spirit of the Bring Back Our Girls group.
Nigerians are dealing with a lot. Sometimes it is a concern, and sometimes I really honestly do understand. The daily challenges of even living in Nigeria can be a bit overwhelming. And then because it's been so political, I know people who till today, 6 months later, because they don't fully grasp the issue, denial is much easier. So you have those who can't fathom 219 girls being abducted. No, it's not possible, it can't be happening. So denying it makes it easier and they just move on. There are those who think they must have found these girls by now. This is a political game. When they are ready to sort themselves out, these girls will appear. So they deal with it that way. There are those who actually care, but are so overwhelmed with just their own daily existence. There's very little they think they can do. And there are those who say, look, I really care, I want to help, but what do you want me to do? I can't march and protest every day. I can't, if I write a letter to my president, he doesn't answer. So what do you want me as a citizen to do? So we just encourage people, for those who want to pray, pray. If you know your senator's number, call him. I mean, legislators have a role to play as well. They can summon defense staff and ask questions. They can refuse to approve amounts that are not accounted for. So Senator, House of Rep, call them. Your governor, call. So find ways in which to engage. But it can be extremely frustrating, especially when you don't get a sense that anybody actually wants something to happen. So you wonder, why bother? But we can't let it die. And I think that's one thing that's been extremely critical in the last 6 months, just remembering that this will not go away. It won't be like any other Nigerian issue that after a while, just with these same problems, people move on because they did something else has happened. I mean, after the girls have been kidnapped, so many things have come up after that. Malaysian plane has come, 9.3 million scandal, 5.7 million scandal. I mean, so many issues that people could have easily gone, but we still keep at it. Yes, the numbers have dwindled, but the fact that we're still talking about it is major in Nigeria's history.
Well, a note of defiance there, but surely for a good cause. The Nigerian government now has been putting up a strong defense in the face of criticism that it may not be doing enough to rescue the Chibok girls. In a veiled reference to the Bring Back Our Girls group, both the senior special assistant to the President on Public Affairs, Donyo Kukwe, and the coordinator of the National Information Center, Michael Mary, argue that the government is doing everything to rescue the girls and end the Boko Haram insurgency.
Give government a chance. Give the military an opportunity to do their job. The more you harass them, the more you ridicule efforts at releasing the girls, the more you empower the insurgents and encourage them. Let us support government and let us remove politics and cynicism from this.
The armed forces and the security agencies have developed an extensive rescue plan and tactical operational methodology embedded within the ongoing military efforts in the Northeast. In other words, the rescue of the girls is, no doubt, an integral part of the larger government effort to safeguard the territorial integrity of Nigeria, which the armed forces must be allowed to prosecute logically in line with well-known and established tradition. While democracy encourages peaceful and meaningful protests, such protesters, especially as it relates to the Chibok incident, are expected to focus on the broader and all-encompassing concerns on lives being lost daily since terrorist action broke out in the Northeast. It should be clearly understood that government is as much concerned with protecting the totality of all Nigerians. In the last 180 days, over 2,000 persons, including military and security personnel, as well as innocent civilians and foreigners, have lost their lives to the activities of the terrorists. This has really given the government a lot of worry, since the security threat of further abductions and terrorism is ever present. Furthermore, the continued politicization of this situation can only serve to endanger the ongoing operations and further risk the lives of our children and persons in captivity. While government is ready and willing to provide credible information on the anti-terror campaign, operational reality does not permit unbridled disclosure of operational plans and strategy, including a day-by-day account of troops movement, engagement, and deployment of hardware, as some agitators have continued to advocate.
Now, Lagos State in southwest Nigeria has been marking a horn-free day, a day set aside by the state government to raise awareness on the dangers of noise pollution as well as improve the quality of living. Now, TV360's Thelma Okoro was around some busy streets in the city to see if drivers actually complied.
Imagine driving alongside 2 million other vehicles in a city of over 20 million residents, with just 9,100 roads notorious for traffic jams and not honking your horn. Impossible, you might say, but that is what the Lagos State government set to achieve when it asked drivers and riders in the state not to use their horns for the whole day. To ensure the directive was a success, the government employed several strategies to create awareness, including placing banners on busy roads to ensure compliance with the initiative. If there is one place you would expect substantial compliance, it is Ikeja, the state capital. Surprisingly, even though the occasional honk still rang out on the roads, it was quiet to some extent, something quite unusual.
It's a beautiful day. There is sanity. At least we have peace. I decided not to bring my car out today because I know I will forget.
Thank you very much. Yes, they said by on Wednesday, nobody is going to, if you are driving, you should not put on your vehicle. I will support anything they said we should do. We must take care about it.
But not everyone seems aware of the initiative.
I just didn't understand why it was a horn-free day. I think it was my wife that said it was cancer awareness, but I wasn't sure what it was.
Lagos State residents may have welcomed the idea of no horns, but how many drivers in the state actually drove today without their horns?
No. I'm not on it. Yeah.
I have, but I would not lie to you. Driving in Lagos, there's always this impulsive thing. Before you know, you're hitting your horn because somebody is trying to get a cut across to you. So by impulse, I think I've pushed more than once. However, I am aware and I have tried to observe it.
I see everywhere is silent. I don't know what is going on because Nigeria is fond of horn. They're making noise with horn every time. When I came in, it's like I'm a little bit frustrating with the horn, but now today is cool. Me, I made a mistake. I horned twice.
The Lagos Horn Free Day is the first of such initiative in Nigeria and follows similar initiatives around the world aimed at reducing noise pollution. It may have come and gone, but one thing is certain: driving without horns in a city as jammed as this one, and where road rage is common, will just not be easy. Thelma Okoro, TV360, Lagos.
Well, I mean, you can't blame that guy who forgot, and it's just normal. I mean, it's just, some would tell you it's practically impossible to drive around Lagos without honking your horn because it's pretty difficult. I mean, you're talking about a city where you have road rage. Road rage is a common thing, and then you have some very nasty drivers with terrible road, should I say, driving habit now, and you just, it's not going to be easy. But it's a very good initiative. It's so good the state government has started it, let's just hope the government continues it. And this has nothing to do with cancer. As we heard one of the drivers there say, it has nothing at all to do with cancer. The whole idea is just to reduce the level of noise in our environment, because Lagos is surely a noisy city. We're talking about a city with over 20 million persons and counting. And then you have about 2 million number of vehicles on the road, and that is, of course, counting. So surely you surely would have noise around the whole place. But good initiative. We'll take a short break now. When we come back, we'll look at other stories.
The search for the next Nigerian Investigative Reporter of the Year is on. The Wole Soyinka Center for Investigative Journalism, WSCIJ, requests entries for the 9th Wole Soyinka Award for Investigative Reporting from Nigerian professional reporters with investigative reports published between 4th October 2013 and 3rd October 2014. Categories: print, radio, online, local government, sports, television, photography, climate change, cartoon, health, and report women. Do you fit the bill? Submit your entries by the deadline Friday, 24th October 2014 at the WSCIJ office, 55 Awolowo Way, Ikeja, Lagos. Visit www.wscij.org or call 080-2439-5083 for more details. Investigative reporting is the vital force for the restoration of human dignity.
Welcome back. Former head of state Muhammadu Buhari has formally declared his intention to contest the presidential election in 2015 under the platform of the main opposition All Progressives Congress. Buhari, who made the declaration in a ceremony at the Eagle Square in Abuja, said he would restore the country's honor if elected president. This is the 4th time, actually, that Buhari would be contesting the presidency of Nigeria. The former military ruler would have to fight for the APC's presidential ticket now against other formidable aspirants like former Vice President Atiku Abubakar and, of course, the incumbent governor of Sokoto State, Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso. Surely not going to be an easy race. Not going to be an easy race. Interesting times, no doubt, in the APC. Now, founder of Leadership Newspapers Group, Sam Nda-Isaiah, has piqued his expression of interest form for the 2015 presidential race. Now, even though he is yet to formally declare his intention to vie for the presidency, Nda-Isaiah is the second presidential aspirant under the platform of the All Progressives Congress APC to purchase the form after former Vice President Atiku Abubakar. 3 other aspirants, as you already know, have confirmed they would be running for the presidency under the APC. Now, they include the former governor of Kano State, Rabiu Kwankwaso, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, and, of course, lately General Muhammadu Buhari. Meanwhile, Nda-Isaiah will formally declare his intention to contest the presidency October 28. That's in a couple of days' time. Well, good one for the APC. More and more people declaring. Now, with 2015 general election drawing near, 7 ministers are set to leave the cabinet of President Goodluck Jonathan to pursue their governorship ambitions. The 7 of them are Minister for Information, Labaran Mako, Health Minister, Professor Onyebuchi Chukwu, Nyesom Wike, who is, of course, the Minister of State for Education, Samuel Otom, who is the Minister of State for Industry, Trade and Investment, and then we have Senator Musli Obanikoro, the Minister of State for Defense, Darius Ishaku, who is the Minister of State for Niger Delta, and Emeka Wogu, the Labour Minister. The ministers who are expected to submit their resignation letters by next Monday will now cease to be members of the Federal Executive Council. Interesting political race ahead, no doubt, especially in the states where these ministers come from. Wow. Not a bad one. Now, the Rivers State chapter of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, has announced the commencement of sale of its intent and nomination forms to its members wishing to vie for any elective position on the party's platform. The party, in a statement signed by Special Advisor to PDP Chairman in the state, Jerry Needham, directed that all members interested in running for the Senate, Federal House of Representatives, and State House of Assembly should purchase their forms at the State Party Secretariat. All those aspiring for the offices of the president and governor were, however, advised to collect their intent and nomination forms from the National Secretariat of the party in Abuja. The PDP said that the forms for all primaries will be on sale at the national and state offices until October the 30th, 2014. To health issues now. Nigeria and Senegal are due to be declared Ebola-free countries if they could complete the 42-day period with no new cases, the World Health Organization said Wednesday in Geneva. The WHO in a statement said the completion date for Nigeria would be Monday, October 20th, and that of Senegal will be Friday, October 17th. According to WHO, the move had become imperative because 42 days from the time when the last person with high-risk exposure tests negative for the virus would give sufficient confidence to declare an outbreak over in any country. Now, the 42-day period is actually twice the generally accepted maximum incubation period of the virus, though WHO says some incubation periods could be longer. The Nigerian government has already declared the country Ebola-free. Now, Ebola has killed more than 4,000 persons in this current outbreak. Countries worst hit by the virus include Liberia, Sierra Leone, and Guinea. With the Ebola virus disease ravaging some countries of the world, founder and chief executive officer of the popular social networking website Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg, and his wife Priscilla Chan have donated 4 billion naira to aid the fight against the disease. Zuckerberg, who made the announcement on his Facebook page, said they wanted to stop the epidemic, which has infected 8,400 people so far before it got out of control. He said Ebola was spreading very quickly and there was every possibility it could infect 1 million people or more over the next several months if not addressed. He, however, expressed hope that the funds would help save lives and get this current outbreak of the EVD under control. Very good initiative there, I must confess. Now, a second health worker at the Texas Presbyterian Hospital has tested positive to Ebola a few days after a nurse, Nina Palm, tested positive there. The new case is also one of those who attended to late Thomas Eric Duncan, the Liberian who took the Ebola virus to America. The identity of this health worker has not been revealed. Meanwhile, the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says it is currently trying to track down 132 air passengers who flew from Cleveland to Dallas with the Ebola patient. This new case comes barely a day after a United Nations employee infected with Ebola died at a hospital in Germany. The hospital said the Ebola patient died during the night in the St. George Clinic in Leipzig. It added that despite intensive medical measures and maximum efforts by the medical team, the 56-year-old UN employee succumbed to the serious infectious disease. Ebola has killed more than 4,000 people since March, mostly in Liberia, Sierra Leone, and unfortunately, Guinea. To sports now, the Super Eagles of Nigeria today defeated Sudan 3-1 in the second leg of the qualifying game for the 2015 African Cup of Nations scheduled to hold in Morocco. CSK Moscow winger Ahmed Musa scored the first and third goals in the game to give the Eagles their victory over the Sudanese. This is Nigeria's first win in the 2015 CAF qualifiers. The victory against the Sudanese is sure to keep the hope of the team qualifying alive. It is certainly a major boost for coach Stephen Keshi, who has come under intense pressure of late after losing 2 games and drawing 1 in the first 3 group stage matches. TV360 visited some of the viewing centers in town where fans had gathered to watch the game. Here what some of them told us after that game.
Actually heard the voice of a lot of Nigerians to actually make sure that his boys have given us a maximum point today, which is something encouraging towards the next match. Hoping that we get a very good equation talking about if Congo beats South Africa. But so far so good. Today's match has been fantastic. A brace from Ahmed Musa. What do you expect on his birthday? It's been fantastic. Yeah, we have the chance of qualifying, but you know it's not basically based on us right now, because we know that there have to be matches that are expecting South Africa to take a very good one from Congo and putting our permutation together. We expect on next 2 games, if we get maximum point or 4 points from probably 6 points, can keep us on the edge of going to Morocco next year. It's unfortunate that we find ourselves in kind of a situation whereby we permutate. You know, this is becoming something frequent to our football in Nigeria. You know,
today, I don't know the biggest football nation in Africa, the continent. We shouldn't find ourselves in this kind of a tight corner, you know. Then there are a lot of things, there are a lot of issues in that team, which the coach need to readjust and put some things that is not good in place. So I think if those things can put in place, I think there's still chances for Nigeria. Even Keshi himself, I think there's something wrong with Keshi. I must confess to you. Likewise, NFF, there's something wrong with the NFF, but thank God that the problem has been solved a little bit now. But Keshi have done it before. Remember, this is a young man who gave us what we can for like 19 years, a very long time ago. He gave it to us last year. Then let's give him more trial. I think he can do it. All we just need to do, let's support them. You know, let's charge them, because football needs motivation. You need to charge them. Let them tell them what's at stake, what's on ground, what we need to lose as a nation. You know, collectively, individually. If we can put all these things in place, I think the sky is still our limit.
I can tell you, every football fan in Nigeria is a wonderful coach. They know the technicalities. They know what to do to get Nigerians winning. Well, we can just say congratulations to Nigeria. Congratulations to Stephen Keshi. Let's just go on and win our next 2 matches, and sure, we'll be in Morocco. So congratulations to everyone. That's it in news now. Thank you very much for watching. We're back again shortly.